Hi everyone, welcome back to episode 3 of my 10 Great Quotes series. Today we'll be looking at Stranger in a Strange Land, V for Vendetta, Jurassic Park, and Fahrenheit 451. So if you've yet to read those books, then do go away and read them so that you don't run into any spoilers here. The first quote is from Stranger in a Strange Land. The first 3 are, in fact. And this first one is from Jubal Harshaw, and he's talking about news. "Remind me," Jubal said to her, "to write a popular article on the compulsive reading of news. The theme will be that most neuroses and psychoses can be traced to the unnecessary and unhealthy habit of daily wallowing in the troubles and sins of 5 billion strangers." I love this quote because it can be uniquely applied to the present day, given our obsession and bombardment on a daily basis with news headlines that ultimately, especially with regards to celebrity news stories and the cult of the personality that we've got going on, really they're meaningless to us in an everyday sense. So again, that's why I like that quote. The second quote is again from Jubal Harshaw, and he's talking about government. "Democracy is a poor system of government at best. The only thing that can honestly be said in its favour is that it is about 8 times as good as any other method the human race has ever tried. Democracy's worst fault is that its leaders are likely to reflect the faults and virtues of their constituents. A depressingly low level, but what else can you expect?" The third quote, and the last one from Stranger in a Strange Land. Again, Jubal Harshaw, because he's just a legend. He eviscerates religion and the character of Lot, in particular, in the Bible. "Even Lot might have been mistaken, but that's what he promised them. His virgin daughters, young and tender and scared, urged this street gang to rape them as much as they wished, in any way that they liked. If only they would leave him in peace." Jubal snorted in disgust. "And the Bible cites this sort of scum as being a righteous man." I just think that quote's priceless. It's just brilliant. Totally eviscerates religion and the Old Testament in absolutely uncompromising and bitter fashion. And I just love that quote. The fourth quote in today's video is from V for Vendetta. And it's from Valerie, the woman who's left a note for Evie in the prison cell. And the quote pertains to integrity. "But it was my integrity that was important. Is that so selfish? It sells for so little, but it's all we have left in this place. It is the very last inch of us, but within that inch we are free." A short quote now, again from V for Vendetta, from the character of V. "Happiness is a prison, Evie. Happiness is the most insidious prison of all." I do love this quote because, again, I'm trying to, when I get quotes and try and apply them to the modern day, this one really resonates because so many people see things happening in the world and it just passes them by because ultimately in their own life they're happy. Financially happy, culturally happy, socially happy. And there's so many things that are happening, even a cursory look at the world around us seems to highlight endless injustices or problems or issues. And ultimately because people get their Premier League football, they get their television shows, their reality TV, this and that, whatever you want to call it. Ultimately, they're happy within reason. And this quote sort of gets at the heart of the issue. In terms of happiness being a prison for your mind, that's how I interpret it. And also, it's almost innocent in a way, but really it is insidious and not necessarily evil, but malicious. The last quote, number 6, from V for Vendetta again, the infamous "ideas are bulletproof" quote. And this is slightly different to the one in the film, which is very good. The film's a good adaptation, but decidedly different. "There, did you think to kill me? There's no flesh or blood within this cloak to kill. There's only an idea. Ideas are bulletproof. Farewell." I do prefer the film version of that quote, but in a way, there's a darkness about the quote in the graphic novel that is, is enjoyable as well. But given the choice, I do choose the film quote. Moving on now to Jurassic Park, quote number 7. "The life finds a way" quote, and this is the one that's very popular from the film and people always remember it. Comes from Dr. Ian Malcolm, the most likeable character in the book, in my view. "The history of evolution is that life escapes all barriers. Life breaks free. Life expands to new territories. Painfully, perhaps even dangerously. But life finds a way." Malcolm shook his head. "I don't mean to be philosophical, but there it is." This next quote is from Ian Malcolm as well, and it's about notions of power, and it's probably one of my favourite quotes from this list of 10 that I've put together. "It isn't a matter of wanting it or not. It's a matter of what you think you can accomplish. When the hunter goes out in the rainforest to seek food for his family, does he expect to control nature? No. He imagines that nature is beyond him, beyond his understanding, beyond his control. Maybe he prays to nature, to the fertility of the forest that provides for him. He prays because he knows he doesn't control it. He's at the mercy of it. But you decide you won't be at the mercy of nature. You decide you'll control nature, and from that moment on you're in deep trouble, because you can't do it. And you never have, and you never will. Don't confuse things. You can make a boat, but you can't make the ocean. You can make an airplane, but you can't make the air. Your powers are much less than your dreams of reason would have you believe." So throughout Jurassic Park, the novel especially, Malcolm is vehemently arguing against what Hammond is trying to accomplish with the park, and their notions of power, that they can just box up this resurrected group of dinosaurs, parade them around or open a theme park with these systems of control placed upon them. This theme is the cornerstone of the book. It's a cautionary tale about these notions of power and sort of attacks them mainly through the character of Dr. Malcolm. So again, thoroughly enjoyable, and I do enjoy these quotes because again, you can apply them to modern society in terms of the things that we try and do to nature and try and apply. The last 2 quotes are from Fahrenheit 451. And this first one is from a character called Granger, who speaks about leaving a legacy. "Everyone must leave something behind when he dies," my grandfather said. "A child or a book or a painting or a house or a wall built or a pair of shoes made. Or a garden planted. Something your hand touched some way, so your soul has somewhere to go when you die. And when people look at that tree or that flower you planted, you're there. It doesn't matter what you do," he said, "so long as you change something from the way it was before you touched it into something that's like you after you take your hands away. The difference between the man who just cuts lawns and a real gardener is in the touching," he said. "The lawn cutter might just as well not have been there at all. The gardener will be there a lifetime." I think this is a good metaphor for life, in terms of people leaving an imprint on the world after they're gone. You'll probably tell from my reaction to the Stranger in a Strange Land quote about religion that I am at best an agnostic atheist and at worst an atheist. And I think that really in this short time we're on this planet. We need to really try and make an imprint or try and achieve something, and that's completely down to you. It's down to the individual. And I think this quote just distills that. You know, you need to leave an imprint, whether that's, you know, a lineage, passing on genetics, I would suppose, or a work of art, music, a book, anything like that. And I think that's really important, and that's just my opinion on it, and this quote really distills it down quite nicely. The last quote is sort of similar. It's again from Granger, issuing another metaphor for life. "Stuff your eyes with wonder," he said. "Live as if you drop dead in 10 seconds. See the world. It's more fantastic than any dream made or paid for in factories." And that's just a metaphor for getting out there and seeing the world, and I guess travelling, or just taking in everything that life's got to offer. And that really resonated with me. As you know, I put these videos together when I reach 10 collected quotes, so it's really just down to the extent to which a quote impacts on me as to whether the speed of which I get my quotes together. So really, I'll just make these videos in this playlist as quickly as the quotes come to me on this sort of reading journey. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. You can find the written versions of these quotes on my blog, and do tune in for the next video. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you later.